She is a harder carry than him, but of course ANX is a stronger team.
No!
And there, of course, is the brand ban. No one should be surprised at all.
I think we saw a quick little reaction for the player cams there.
Don't worry, don't worry.
But yeah, unlucky there.
He has more mages ready for sure. Zyra is one of them. Karma's Alder for him also removed. I'm sure a Bard is available. There's some mages.
Yeah. In all seriousness though, my favorite comp that I've seen these guys run is their poke comp with the Jhin and Varus, and then the high damage AP support to balance that out. Last time it was Brand. Zyra is also an option that they could use, to even out that damage profile. But that's where I've seen them have a lot of success, and that's what I really like about them. Landing these long-range poke skill shots and having a lot of high damage output.
Yeah, I think it's important to highlight that Albus is not a team that straight up bullies people. Back in Russia, they don't destroy the laning phase specifically. They actually have pretty good understanding of how to play the late game and known as a bit of a macro team in their own region. Problem is you play against the ROX Tigers, who obviously are a fantastic macro team in the mid game as well, especially. And they just have this insane early game now with Peanut, and of course Smeb just getting better and better up in the top lane. So if you are, a late game focused team, probably not going to work against the best team, or potentially the best team in the world.
Yeah, I mean, any tactic you take against, the team that is favored to win the entire tournament is going to be rough, but we'll see what they start out with here. The Bard Jhin, that is a very high damage bottom lane, and maybe we get to see Likkrit making some moves around the map.
And both teams really putting pretty heavy priority on making the bottom lanes look pretty strong. Again, Bard, one of Likkrit's best champions, but also this Nami Lucian, again, a very strong 2-1-2, one of the more lane-dominant combos you can find.
2 games in a row where we see the team on red side go with double bot lane picks in the first rotation. CLG last game locked in Caitlyn Nami for one of the absolute strongest 2v2s you could possibly get. Here we see more focus on comfort, obviously with the Bard, of course, for Likkrit. And then that Jhin you talked about, Kobe, the long-range poke they like to play. Jayce is still available if they want to have that as a potential last pick. Ooh. This is a little bit of a surprise. Didn't expect to see a whole lot of Shen anymore. He does struggle against a lot of picks after like one item up in the top lane. I think like Gnar, Ken, and some of these different champions. Rumble as well is actually really good against Shen.
Especially blind picking a Shen versus Smeb. They talked about before, but widely considered, now maybe the best player in the world overall, and hovering over the Rumble already, looking like he wants to punish. He does have an Elise at his back, so that could help a lot, because Peanut spends a lot of time up on the top side of the map.
But if you are Smurf here in this game, you might say, you know what, I'm not going to beat this guy 1v1, so give me a champion where I can then leave the lane, like Dashawn did in the last game on Poppy, and just go down to the bottom lane. So I think the strategy here is don't try and just destroy the top lane, because the 2v2 of Peanut and Smeb is the strongest in the world. It is so hard to do anything against these two guys. So if you just pick a champion that can go to the other side of the map, you can actually play very aggressive now around the bottom lane. Nami is a super squishy support with 0 dashes or anything. That's a bot ulti at level 6, and then she dies.
Always a possibility. We see how well the assassinations can work. The profiles of champions coming out here. 2 physical damage marksmen of sorts for ROX Tigers, and of course 2 high damage magic damers in the Elise and the Rumble here. But a lot of long range tools. You mentioned poke before. Jayce and Rumble honestly can hit you again from sort of off the screen, and Lucian not too shabby with the culling either, so we can see a lot of long range pressure. And the final pick going to come through for Albus Nox Luna will be the Vladimir in the mid lane for Kira. Thinks it'll work well up against the Jayce in the mid.
Yeah, I don't really agree with him on the Vladimir pick against Jayce. I think this is actually super risky. Vlad is a champion who really wants to build early magic resistance. Like, the greatest thing is to get a Spirit Visage, and then you can survive versus like most of the mages. Well, Jayce don't really care about your MR. If you build early MR,
really?
he's gonna wreck you completely with this Ghostblade build. And we get to see Jayce mid lane. Expected more top, but in this game here,
no, you are actually forced into building early armor versus Jayce right now, or you'll fall way too far behind. You can get to true damage pretty much with the most popular flat armor penetration builds right now. But again, you talked about playing for the team, and maybe it's more of a team pick here for Kira. Kira actually, he does have some of the highest CS difference numbers. However, he has some of the lowest kills plus assist numbers of anyone at the entire tournament there for mid laners. So focus on trying to farm and we'll see if they can make something happen in team play.
Yep, farm lane probably all Kuro wants, and maybe you can see Shen and Graves band together to get some decent damage on Rumble. He's one of the more gankable champions. You expect that to be a pushing lane for Smeb, so maybe it does shove in and Graves gets behind him.
Also, I just have to always reiterate this cautionary tale of ganking Rumbles, though. Yes, he does push automatically, and it's a good champion to gank really early on, but be very careful when he's level 6 or post-level 6, because Smeb is definitely a guy that might get double kills in that.
Well, let's see what happens to get ourselves into this game. Vote for who you think's going to win this one. Hashtag ROX win, hashtag ANX win for which squad you think's going to come out victorious here. Tournament favorites, ROX Tigers, their first game of the World Championship as we load ourselves onto the Rift here in San Francisco. And let's see who's going to join CLG at 1-0 to top the group.
I like how you had to squeeze that in.
Just saying.
Of course. It is
I always
true,
bring up the storylines. You guys are the smart players who talk about the champions and how well they play in the comps. I'm going to talk about the players and how they're doing.
Let's talk about these icons they're spamming now, because CLG, boom, all at the same time. Very coordinated there at the end of the game, but ROX already showing a little bit of...
There's a worrying trend for sure early on. We're only day 1 now, game 2 obviously. The tournament favorites, as you said, Phreak, against Albus here, team. We don't really expect to do a whole lot against the ROX Tigers, but it's when you don't expect it, there could be some crazy things happening in the early game. There are 4 members down the bottom lane, sending in support on some crazy mission, trying to see, can he maybe bait Gorilla to take a trade? Will they try and hit him? Because the rest of the members were actually hiding behind Likkrit here. They didn't show early on. No one decided to overstep, though, on the side of ROX Tigers.
So not too much aggressive so far. We do have a Krugs ward in from ROX Tigers on the top side, so they can probably track where the Albus Nox jungler does start. No similar deep wards, though, from Albus Nox, so it actually is a early game advantage vision-wise for the Koreans here of ROX Tigers. And those small advantages can mean quite a lot when you are able to figure out what your opponents are doing early on in the game.
And we're going to see this a lot in this meta here, where level 1 teams are like grouping a little bit and maybe hinting towards a quick invade, but very rarely do we see like big, massive invades just all the way in, because you don't have to anymore when lane swaps is not a thing. Back in the past, you would invade, get deep vision, spot a lane swap, and then either take the lane swap or take the standard lanes. Now you just kind of hover around river most of the time and try and set up a little trap maybe, and then you play around these early camps instead.
Yeah, the early camps there, you can see Albus Nox don't even try and take it because they see the Tigers coming in on their defensive ward, but also just that small amount of information, know where the enemy jungler is for sure starting, does help tremendously, and Peanut on this Elise is very capable of making early moves.
Final shot goes onto the minion. So far, so good. No missed CS for Albus Nox, but actually Prey missed too. You don't expect to have huge nerves, but sometimes it happens, and you've been away from the World Championship. And right now, though, we still expect to see ROX Tigers be a bit dominant. Peanut clears 2 camps on the top side. Romped into blue buff, now heading down for the early red. Make sure he's not getting anything stolen from him.
Yeah, it's still very standard to see junglers always aim to have that red buff within like the first 3 camps they do. Because then you get level 3 and you can look to either contest river for Rift Scuttler, or you can look for an early gank if you want to. And it's important you're ready to react in case the enemy jungler is already on the map doing something.
Definitely true, and Graves one of the best at staying high health in the jungle, so he's always ready to react
takes any damage
to any situation. The thing there, he did kind of intelligently, though. They saw the mid lane was pushing up. Kuro on the Jayce. It was trying to push Kira in. And so he pulls the blue buff back into the brush, even though there's a ward that goes down. Completely safe, no threat of invading. They do spot out where he is, though. So Peanut takes that information, goes for the first camp steal of the game.
Exactly, really smart play. Kuro shoves up, as you mentioned, puts the ward down. Now they can track PvPStejos, who comes in late to the fight, but still Peanut's not liking this battle. Look at the damage output. He's almost dead. This is going to be first blood. Exhaust comes in. Suddenly Kuro's here, and Smeb has already rotated down as well. Smurf's got to show up soon. The flash to get away. Peanut still gets control over the Raptors, and I think ROX actually came out ahead here.
Well, yeah, Smurf is the...
This is the taunt, goes back for the trade again. Stejos looking for to get more damage, and he might bring him down. Smeb flashes, gets away from the buckshot. But here comes Peanut over the wall, looking to find this time, gets it now. The taunt's not going to mean much, and gets himself first blood, and here's the chase. Jumps over the wall, good repel. The taunt's going to land into Kuro, though. How much more do they have?
He's
Trying to put the last little bit in, and it's 2 kills for Albus Nox.
Talk about being ready to react to any situation. You can can track PvPStejos on Graves, but Elise at half health cannot take that fight, and Peanut got blasted there. Oh my goodness, 2 kills starting it out here for Albus Nox Luna.
Such a greedy invade here from the ROX Tigers, and Peanut walking in, and then he just finds the Graves in his own jungle, able to proc that Q on the wall very quickly, win that early trade. Smurf came down very late, but once he finally joined, he made some magic.
If we track the damage dealt in this exchange, like PvPStejos does so much here, even though the first roam is from Smeb. That's kind of why Peanut turned around for a second there, is because he knew he had Smeb on the way. But it's a disjointed 3-man move here for the Tigers. Kuro is out of mana on this Jayce, so they know they've got him trapped in the jungle.
And they know Smurf is coming from somewhere, but not really sure where exactly. They find him on top side, and now Smeb just simply caught out, has to flash away. But you're behind enemy lines now. 3 members in the jungle, and now you die.
Yep. Smurf gets enough damage in, and Stejos knows he can chase him out. Yeah, I guess he's going to live, and the Elise gets to walk away, but another great taunt comes out from Smurf, and just means enough CC is there.
Yep, good maneuvering there by Smurf also to get that Q pass through for the extra slow, just to make sure nobody's going to get away, and let's see how they can snowball this.
Looking for the gank. Can they find much? Stejos gets away from the bubble. Bit of a slow on the Gorilla. Will not land the root, though. aMiracle's going to miss that shot. Bit of damage coming through. Ignite is on. Prey running out of HP. Last shot's a crit. He's got a flash early. That could have been a kill if aMiracle landed it. But here comes ROX. Coming down. Good bubble on a Likkrit. He's not in a good spot at all. Here comes the Repel trying to join in, but he's not going to land the Cocoon. Peanut's not going to get it. Gonna chase into the turret. Kuro, the turret shot. It's going to be a trade kill. 1 for 1 for the roam.
Kira needs to push mid lane now because he was left there and he started to roam really, really late. He needs to shove that minion wave in, try and punish ROX for that roam. And it was very good. They were able to get that counter kill there. ROX, definitely a little bit of a fumble here in the early game.
But they're so aggressive as well. Like, you see Kuro just leaving the mid lane instantly as a fight started on the bottom lane here. They could have just backed away and said, everyone is alive. You know, a few summoners were used and that's it. But no, they went for that dive here. It's a good setup, honestly, here. I like this from Albus Nox. They're trying to force a flash out of Gorilla. They see Prey's taking the trade, so they go for him. He's forced to flash away. And now, once you see Likkrit flash here, you can just turn around, go back to your lanes, and you're going to be fine.
Watch Likkrit land his Q from the bush. Oh, there's someone in the bush actually there. Gorilla had vision, but he does land it. That makes Kuro go really deep into the turret, and they trade the 1 for 1.
Yeah, let's remember that Kuro was just sitting mid lane. Smurf taking some damage. Again, it's not really the funniest lane to play Shen in. Hard to trade with the Rumble, but here's his jungler.
Taunt's not going to be it for now, but he's going to ult again into range. They really want to pick off Smeb. The taunt's going to get him second. Not quite into the turret just yet. aMiracle going to get stunned up, and look at all the damage output. There's no chance to turn it around off the smallest of windows with Likkrit. Just not in range. A great dive and a great kill for ROX Tigers.
Yeah, here we got to question the decision to go top lane and gank. Rumble was full HP. Shen was not really able to do a whole lot. Barely has any damage at this point with the early AMR, and then you see a gank in the bottom lane from Peanut versus the no-flash Jhin. It's a good choice here from Peanut, picking the right lane.
Yeah, I actually think that top lane move was really, really forced. They used one of the biggest tools they have in the early game, is that first Shen ultimate. No Stand United to be able to turn the map around on the other side, and Smeb was able to get out without burning any summoners. So definitely a good job by Smeb avoiding that, but a bit of a force on the top side.
Absolutely. Likkrit now in a bad spot, but a nice match with running away. You talked earlier during Champ Select about how difficult it is to dive onto Rumble with the ulti. He had used it in a trade against Smurf. They thought, this is our opportunity. Maybe we can dive him now with the ulti down. Unfortunately, it did not work, and sadly, Stain Meta was not able to be used to save their bot lane as aMiracle got dived not long ago.
I remember Rumble is a bit of a bruiser, also with the Doran shield early. It's hard to take him down with some of these tanks. A lot of damage here from Kuro onto Kira.
Listening in, not a lot of CC left though as Kuro is running away. Ghost is on Kira, gets some decent damage, puts the pull down for a slow, and that means Graves is in range. Kuro does not have the ability to get out, and that is a kill for PvPStejos. Albus Nox keeping it up 4-2 in kills.
Stejos is kind of on fire in this game after the first jungle invade. He is also the shot caller for the team. So this bodes well for them as he starts to head bottom lane. Bardo doesn't land, but they land
on the Gorilla, into the root, into the damage output, and the crit gets the kill. Out the goes with the magical journey. Prey actually forcing him out 1v3, but still, Albus Nox finding the kills.
Yeah, I like to see it as a jungler who's just ganking every single lane, and the Tigers actually saw him leave the mid lane, and then Gorilla still stayed around the river without flash.
not respecting Likkrit's bard.
The
Definitely
zoning
cost
ulti
him.
from the bottom goes into the Q stun near the wall. Smurf, he's taking a lot of damage again.
Wow, walking still. The equalizer never getting off the carpet, but he will at least survive the encounter. Teleport is going to be up very shortly. He should be able to survive it all. 800 gold lead for Albus Nox. And as I trail off, I want to leave with one final point. ROX is actually behind half the time at 10 minutes anyway, playing domestically. This actually isn't outlandish for ROX to be behind. Just generally speaking, watching them play League.
And then normally between 10 and 20 minutes, they go completely crazy, obviously, and start getting these massive goal leads. They are very, very good at setting up potential tower dives, so pressure points and side lanes, and then you get down an early tower and you take a few kills with it, or you force the enemy back and they can't defend at all. You take those few towers, you get a few more kills, and you always snowball that into more objectives if you are the ROX Tigers, and it becomes very, very hard then if you start falling behind around that 20-minute mark against them. But right now, they are slightly behind, 700 gold, 800 gold to be 100% correct. And we're gonna see, you know, a team, an Albus team here who's just gonna keep trying to go aggressive, you know. You have a jungler who's level 7 now, he can just keep ganking. He's extremely strong at this point.
Also,
in the game.
Stan United is back up, so they can definitely make a move on the bottom side.
Or maybe gank top again and use the same ult onto him.
Well, Likkrit's got his ultimate up in about 2 seconds here, and that could set it up. They got to kill off it last time. He's had very good accuracy with his bindings as well, so we might see something else.
And you pointed out there, the ulti from Shen before here, Kobe. There's no TP from Smeb, so you need to make a play in the bottom lane. If you're Albus, just go all in here. You can even bot ulti the tower and just use that Shen Stan United to force that dive and get the kills on the bottom lane. You can see Peanut, he knows it's gonna happen. He's around.
Here comes the attempt, gets the bounce back onto the wall. Peanut, here's the ulti in from the Shen as well. Jumps to the wall, ulti to get him in a range and a flash to get out of the taunt. Likkrit still wants to chase down Exhaust and the Prey, looking for the moment and not gonna get that Tempered Fate, sadly. Just a quick dodge out. And ROX Tigers able to slink away pretty easily. Smurf out of his lane, getting killed.
Oh, he ghosted also. That was both summoners. They're going for Peanut.
Looking for the play out of him. He's going to land the top flash. They're going to get the damage with Hemo Plague, and Kira does get himself the kill. Smeb cannot join for 20 more seconds. Looking now for the play. Can they get it? The culling actually not going to land much from Prey. He's clearing the minion wave away. Kira runs out of health and actually gets pops out. And now Kuro's joining the battle as well. Stejos still gets the first kill, but trades his life for it. This is going better and better for ROX Tigers as Prey is chasing down to find some of his own. The quick slow trap's going to get him out of range. The Smeb can join. Oh! The snipe from Kuro turns it around and ties up the gold.
Remember, that was all 4 versus 5 as well. As Deficio pointed out ahead of time, Smeb did not have teleport. He's been farming away happily on the top side of the map. And you can tell Albus Nox Luna, they definitely want to create a play there, but a little bit early.
Well, simply for Albus here, they didn't seem to say, okay, what exactly are we doing? They said, we're going to do something on the bottom side. Well, that's correct. Step 2 is then, okay, let's push in the bottom lane. Let's just ulti that tower as a bard, and then you can get these kills. But they suddenly picked up or started some fights in the middle of the jungle. They were used ultis and flashes very early without actually hitting anyone. Execution is not good enough, even though they have the right idea here. Make a play on the bottom side.
I think the adrenaline there is definitely pumping through their veins. As you saw there, Smurf unable to get those CS under the turret, even with Shen with the enhanced Q. A little bit of jitters, you know, after you have some excitement in the early game like that, you take some time to calm down now because gold is still even.
Sure. But talking about jitters, I want to talk about the fact that Prey, during that fight, said, I'm going to put culling on the minion wave to make sure that the eventual tower dive is deadlier. And in fact, there were 2 kills because of the turret putting out damage. So nerves of steel for Prey, who made the right call in a tense situation, could have shot out aMiracle, didn't kill the minions instead.
And now once again, Likkrit has his ulti ready on this board here. He missed the 2 ultis he's used so far. Now it's the Tigers with the TP advantage.
Smurf cannot join, a beautiful equalizer, and here come the kills. The kills are just that, now 7-7. And Smeb is still on the chase. Good dodge in the bubble. Stejos not going to lose his life just yet, but a 2 for 0. And that is efficiency. That is a solid, great game.
Quick 2 kills, but they're not out yet.
They're not, but it's a 5v3. This is still dangerous, but Albus Nox really wants anything here. Stejos gonna clear a bit of the wave. Kira getting sniped and doesn't get a chance to pool or anything. Another beautiful kill by ROX Tigers as Kuro clears the wave, makes Stejos run away.
Now, the big important thing is they're gonna also turn this into the first turret plus the first Drake, as Ocean Drake is ready and awaiting for them.
Yeah, and this is just a problem when you have the TP advantage, you're setting up for a play and you fail the execution, you give over kills to ROX Tigers, well, they will naturally then get a global advantage, and they use it instantly. You see the setup here. They did what Albus was supposed to do before, push in the wave first, then move in behind the tower, and then you execute, and don't fight in the middle of nowhere. No, just fight around these turrets here, because you know members are staying around to try and pick up the farm, and look how easy it is for the ROX Tigers to pick up the kill.
aMiracle never got to take an auto there. He took 80% of his life from culling, the rest from Smeb, almost all out of range.
Look at the bubble coming here.
Yep. We're waiting for it to fish.
We're waiting.
I'm waiting.
Nicely, and then just Kuro didn't see it coming. It is not terribly hard to dodge that on reflexes, but Kuro lost it in the clutter and chain CC to death.
We talked about how, as a Vladimir, you don't want to go early MR against the Jayce, so you actually just rush Proto build. It's a very aggressive build, not really tanky at all, and you can go down very, very quickly. Kuro, though, just aiming for a bit more damage than his all-ins, which is really the only place he can use that Proto build. Right now, he's getting some good poke down. Problem is, you had your chances. Honestly, you had moments where you could get a bigger lead.
5 members converging mid.
Marksman around the sports as well. Kira's going to run out of health pretty rapidly. Nice bit of culling damage. Now the equalizer, and it's actually going to tag Likkrit. He's going to magical journey over the wall. But Albus Nox keep their members alive if injured. Dodging the shock blast, and now towards the turret goes ROX Tigers. Down to 2/3 HP on that one, still putting a few more hits in. And another dodge. Just Temperance Fate's not landing the targets. Deficio puts out 3 in a row so far that have missed their mark. ROX Tigers continue the mid lane siege. Smeb missing an ultimate, but who cares? Kuro can still land all the snipes. Kira going in for the dive, looking for damage on the Peanut. Gonna dodge the shock blast as well. Who are they gonna find? A quick taunt in from Smurf. Kuro low on HP. A great stun's gonna land, and Kira getting himself the kill. That's 1 for 0 so far to Albus Nox. They keep the turret alive as well. Nicely played.
Yeah, what a nice engagement. Great coordination. Chaining that CC onto Kuro. He had a few seconds on this flash here. Couldn't escape. Mid lane.
Oh, another chase in. That was over aggressive. Albus Nox chose that fight, and they lost their lives for it. 1 for 0 this time with ROX Tigers. Not going to get stunned. Peanut expected him to shoot right, but he did not do so. Low on HP. They've got to be aware of the fact that a dive could happen. Peanut walking up. Lands an auto attack. Wow, Sejos flashed because he was that afraid. And that will be in the turret. 2-0 now in turrets. ROX Tigers up 4,000 gold.
As we can see there, you know, the turret changes where Peanut's still in tower range, gets off an auto, even though his target is not. It does take target or turret aggro. Then he is Elise, so you can repel. No harm, no foul.
I mean, again, we get to see, let's call them nerfs. You know, you see an animation from Elise, you think it's the cocoon, you just flash away instantly. Obviously, Rumble was also showing up, and now Smurf, he's in trouble.
Versus 2, reinforcement coming from the right-hand side, but he's only so durable. Gets away from the shock blast, puts the shield right back on, and puts in the dodge zone. He's gonna survive it and gets away from the gank. Bit of low HP on all sides. No kills.
To defend, Smurf stays alive. Normally when you play Shen.
Oh, the cocoon into the equalizer, and all the damage they could possibly need. A flash base by Peanut gets the kill.
Deficio confirmed, not time traveler. Not able to predict. Here we go, though. Stejos
play a nice bubble, hits the Graves. Not going to find much more just yet, though. The chase in, dodges to flash away from the root, but how much more can the re-engage really do? Likkrit's running out of HP. He's going to go down. Stejos going to be next, and ROX Tigers continue to win fight after fight. 12-8 the kill score now. Again, between 10 and 20 minutes, they are explosive. You're seeing it once again right here. The chase out of the turret. Kira 1v1 against Prey, and Prey comes out victorious. 6-0-2 for ROX Tigers AD carry.
Nobody's left around either. ROX Tigers can push up 2 lanes right now and take down some more turrets. 18 minutes into the game, tier 2s are falling quickly.
Want to see how the ROX Tigers had to fight for it in the early game, but now they just keep making the correct calls. They win these engages. Another crit coming in from aMiracle, but just not enough. And the Tigers have been able to react.
Yeah.
Crazy start, you know, a lot of plays were happening, and then once the failed dive started or happened, Tigers had TP advantage, have been able to set up plays ever since. You've just been staying together, honestly, as a group now, and just been winning these early fights.
So not even at 20 minutes yet, and ROX Tigers went from a 1,000 gold deficit to an 8,000 gold lead over the last 8.5. Yeah.
They do it again. They stick to the stats.
ROX Tigers are the 10 to 20 minute team. They smash everybody doing this. They've done it in Korea for the entire split. They're looking to do it here at Worlds as well. Albus Nox, the first of the teams they hope to shutter this part of the game. We'll see them battle more, of course, throughout the next couple of weeks. ROX Tigers tournament favorites showing what they're so good at.
Frey especially has got to be feeling pretty good on that Lucian at the moment. 1v1ing the enemy mid laner. He's got 6 kills to his name. He's got that really big power spike on Lucian with the Black Chamber on top of Ghostblade. Now he's got lifesteal too, so you can have, you know, some more longevity in these 1v1s.
He probably feels like a top 5 AD carry in the world.
Ah, does he?
And he does deserve that for sure. Prey definitely one of the absolute best AD carries we have here in the world. And that's the thing with ROX Tigers. You know, we have so many of these players on these top 20 lists because so many of them are just star players in a row. Kuro is going to take down his tower on Smurf.
He's sellout. Nice. Instantly turned that into a plug for your top 20 list.
Go check it out.
All right. Well, Albus Nox able to run away. What, do ROX have, what is it, 4 players in the top 20?
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they do.
I'm glad you mentioned
ranking?
that.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned it. Sponsored by Kobe.
Get me out of here.
All right, well, so far, the game is looking according to plan here for ROX Tigers. We crest the 20-minute mark right here, and they end that with a 9,000 gold lead. That feels pretty good. Up the Drake as well. Now we'll see what's next up for them. They've reset everybody. They've recalled 3 of their members, putting them back on the map now with their new item, Zhonya's Hourglass, to go alongside the Leandri's Torment for Smeb. He can dive into the backline and still survive it. And we'll see what the next fight looks like.
Yeah, we need to see Likkrit actually hit an ulti here on this board if they want to try and turn anything around, because if he can lock down someone like Kuro, you can then suddenly set up a very easy taunt from Smurf, and then you can try and kill some of these squishies here, but Likkrit honestly has not been hitting the ultis on board. Early game he had a lot of opportunities against his Nami with no flash. Sadly couldn't execute.
Plus, one of the main problems for ANX at the moment has been that the Tigers have been collapsing on fights far quicker. Tigers have 3 to 4 people collapsing almost instantly anytime you see any sort of action. As you said, that bottom lane dive. As soon as the Bard Magical Journey came out and they saw the Graves, mid lane and jungle instantly traversed down to the bottom side of the map. And it's very hard to catch them, you know, off guard and catch them out of position.
That was a buff going over to the Albus Nox jungle. PvPStejos playing Graves here, and it's just to land the damage amid the smite from Peanut. Still, blue buff is not enough to withstand a 9,000 gold lead push coming in 20 minutes in. The ROX Tigers putting their emphasis on the bot lane. Smeb at the top side, but he has teleport, so he can join the squad. 1, 0, and 4, their lane assignments. As they look to push into bot lane tier 2, the minion wave is here. A lot of killing damage. Shutter the Graves, pushing him out. And there is the 6th straight unanswered turret by ROX Tigers.
Very easy now for them to play this 1-4 comp with just a top laner sitting alone. You can see Smeb moves from top lane to mid lane. He can then go back to top lane later and keep 2 lanes pushing towards ANX's base here, and then the rest of the ROX Tigers can just keep hitting these turrets here as a group.
Looking for the
Gorilla.
Gonna land a bit of a stun on a Gorilla. They're looking for it now. Kira into the back line, fighting with the can, but wow, Prey is godlike. He's already picked off the Bard. Now the dive in the back line, but they've killed off Prey. Smeb pops Zhonya's Hourglass. Pretty kills back and forth. Low HP on all sides, and an overdive by ROX Tigers. They've lost 3. Now Kuro's in the mix, looking for more with Peanut. Smurf now trying to trade it back. It's only 1 member alive for Albus Nox.
How are you gonna get out?
Did get a bit more. Now Gorilla on the trade. Nice dodge on Cocoon. 1 more attack will do it. Smurf gets himself the kill. Chased down by Peanut. And it's the last man standing. ROX's newest player, their jungler, Peanut, looking to knock down an inhibitor.
Peanut wins the game. He's the only one left alive. He's not going to take the objective, though, because Likkrit right back up.
Gotta say, though, for all the possible situations, 9,000 gold down, 4-5 is not the worst fight Albus Nox could have gotten.
No, definitely not. And bit of a crazy dive happening here. The fight starts and they just charge straight forward. Gorilla doesn't actually die early, and then Prey is just dashing into the enemy base. Staying on top. We don't want to watch that. We want to see Likkrit instead. Ooh!
Peanut lets go
Peanut
of health
outplays.
early. Outplays himself over the wall. He's gonna let his opponent get away. Likkrit with the magical journey over the wall gets out with his life. But it's still a tough road ahead. Nearly 10,000 the gold for ROX Tigers. The question is mostly what tools they're going to choose to use to win this game here. This would be a difficult one to lose. Albus Nox could still try to make the comeback happen, but it is increasingly unlikely as time wears on. And ROX Tigers setting up Baron Nashor right now.
We're predicting Tigers will start Baron.
Great.
Crit fires in the 5-man bot ulti. And then the massive follow-up Graves, Vladimir, insane AoE coming from Kira.
Got to get that Vlad ult right as they
Right
come out
in
of the
the
tempered
middle.
fate.
It is kind of crucially important that ROX Tigers don't have any real tanks. They're playing this Nami support. Peanut is building pretty heavy ability power. He's going towards Rylays, which is only semi-tanky. Smeb, you know, again, building as a mage as well. So those chance picks are actually more effective here by Albus Nox because the opponents are squishier.
That's why we're seeing them die when they jump into enemy base. No one can tank the turret. They do chase them off the red buff here with the culling from Prey, and they defend their pink wards as well. You talk about setting up for Baron. They've got full control of the red quadrant of the jungle, and they're just looking to pick somebody up.
Yeah, and while we can see ROX Tigers, of course, have a little bit of fun, you know, taking some very aggressive fights, diving into the base. We still get to see some of the things that you expect.
Oh, flank here from Smeb.
Looking for the push.
Who's
on
flanking
one
who?
side, who he's going to find, and now he's going to get a little bit surrounded. Equalizer comes in looking for aMiracle, gets the Shen ultimate, gets blasted anyway. There's the kill picked up, no damage coming across, 2 for 0. Kira likely to be next up on this one as Smeb kites back. Prey in a battle with Smurf. Just no damage really dealt on either side as the dodge zone drops off. There's the kill on the Smurf. That's going to be 5 kills now picked up for ROX Tigers, the ace in front of the base. Only 24.5 minutes in, looking to push it down mid.
Can also just take the Baron here, removing that way to come back in the game.
Yeah.
Of course, where you can try and steal the Baron or take a fight around it. They will just secure this one very, very easily. We're only 25 minutes into the game, so at this point, getting the Baron is super, super important.
Yeah, I think if it were 35 minutes, they'd just either try to end the game instead, but the recall's fast enough, the respawn, I should say fast enough by Albus Nox, they'd only get the inhibitor and force the recall. This is kind of more bang for your time, more advantages, and they can push with the Baron later as we watch this replay.
Yeah, Smeb fully confident here, does have the Zhonya, so Miracle there, not really anywhere to go except walk across the line of hot coals, and Smeb just lays out the barbecue. No danger really for any members of ROX at the moment. Prey a little bit, having to guide a little bit, but that's pretty much it.
Well, I like that we get to see just, again, as we said before here, while ROX Tigers obviously feels very confident and can go for some of these aggressive plays, we see some of the things they do well as a team. Obviously, Kuro in the mid lane didn't think about winning the lane hard himself. No, whenever there was a fight in side lanes, as you guys highlighted earlier, he was instantly moving. Like, way before Kuro was moving, he was running down. So he just stayed even in CS instead of building up an advantage. Obviously, he died a few times early when we had these crazy jungle trades, but you get to see this mid laner who is really, really good at always roaming first and then helping the side lanes, helping the jungler when he invades. And also when we see the Baron setups, like, they're not taking any chances. It's like full vision coverage, don't engage in anything stupid around the jungle when you have to set up for Baron, and then just slowly choke out the enemy and make sure if they have to fight you, well, they're going to do it without any vision. They're going to have to face check and then suddenly get caught out like you saw aMiracle did before without any flash.
Now 16,000 gold up, wearing a Baron buff. Really questionable Tempered Fate coming in, and that means it's an easy push now for ROX Tigers to knock down the top lane inhibitor turret. The inhibitor itself as well. Another snipe lands onto aMiracle, chunking him down to half HP. ROX is able to roam right back down to the mid lane. Ooh, plenty of damage coming out of Prey. Red buff in tow also. Weathering Kira's health bar down a little bit more. Baron buff minions come in now to the mid lane. A nice stun on PvPStejos. He's got to get away from this one. Kira to re-engage. Puts the pool. And he's going to deliver Shen into the back lines. Can they do enough damage though? As Peanut going to tick down with the Hemo Plague. Staying alive though. No stun on the Prey. And the re-engage still. Prey wants in. He's going to find one. Dives in for a second. And he just will not take any damage. That's the triple for him. Kuro takes one of the other ones. And now Smurf will fall. It would have been a penta. But scumbag Kuro steals it away. But that is the ace inside the base. That should be the game for ROX Tigers to start their tournament 1-0. The tournament favorites stomping everyone in front of them, turning it on after 10 minutes and laying waste to Albus Nox. The synchronized emotes ends game 1. Congratulations, ROX Tigers, 1-0.
Great to see them turn it on after 10 minutes when we had some good fights in the bottom lane. Sadly for Albus Nox, they could not execute when they had the global advantage, end up losing kills. And then suddenly ROX had the advantage, had the summoner spells, and just forced place after place after place, and were able to outplay the opponent.
That really is where they lost all of their momentum in that bottom side, trying to get a little bit too much. But ROX Tigers, you know, confident showing here and moving up to tie CLG as Phreak was questioning earlier.
That's the thing, those are the top 2 teams right now in the group. Of course, there are many more games to play. Each team will play 6 matches in the group stage, each other team once, and then a second time next week. And that'll determine who it's going to be. Those 6 games, tiebreakers if you need them afterwards. They figure out which 2 from each group will advance to the quarterfinals to draw their opponents from the other groups. ROX Tigers, looking good.
Yeah, and that's a very important thing when we have a group where there's what looks like a clear number 1 and a clear number 4, that it's very important you don't like mess up along the way and you suddenly drop a game you weren't supposed to, because if you are CLG and if you are G2, you're going to face each other again, obviously, and you want to make sure that you beat the teams under you right now. You need to make sure that, you know, if you are playing a team above you, that either, you know, you at least give them a fight, a run for their money, or you don't show too much, because you want to have something for next week when you play against, you know, if we take the G2 CLG example, when you play against each other again for that battle for potentially second place.
I do want to talk about this game, though, a little bit, because I think it was much, much closer than most people would have predicted. You come into this one, tournament favorite versus wildcard, you expect an absolute stomp, maybe a sub 20-minute win. We've seen those before at tournaments like Worlds. And this was a very good early game from Albus Nox. Yes, we know ROX Tigers tend to be a bit weaker in the beginning of the game.
Slower.
I mean, but they are frequently behind. And more often than other teams at Worlds, where these are all the best teams from their regions, right? To be the best team in your region and yet still lose half your early games is somewhat of a weakness. And the fact that it's still happening here against a team you're 99% of the time supposed to beat says, okay, well, what if CLG gets that early game lead? Do they even win that game? What if G2 gets the early game lead? Do they win that one? And Albus Nox showing, hey, we can outplay ROX Tigers in the first 10. Can they do that against CLG or G2? And I think that's much more likely than we thought coming into the tournament.
I mean, it definitely is true, right? This team, they changed their name from Hard Random, right? They merged organizations, and they've been on the international stage before. Teams like CLG and G2 definitely do have to watch out. Because, as you said, if you lose one of those games that you're not expected to lose, it completely throws everything through the loop. Yeah,
and we saw a strong early game, as you highlighted, Phreak. Obviously, a lot of jungle pressure early on. Every single lane suddenly got attacked once or twice. We need to see a member like Likkrit, though, be a little bit more crisp on the board. You got to land some of these ultis if you really want to keep snowballing your lead. And that's where it obviously went wrong for them. But we're definitely seeing a good early game. And if they can keep playing that way, if they can keep putting pressure the first 10, 15 minutes, you can surprise teams. Again, we saw it at MSI. We've seen it before. And that's the key thing, I guess. Don't just give up hope just because you lose the first game. Because you play against the ROX Tigers. You know, most teams would have lost this game.
Sure. And coming in, right, ever since we've had wildcard teams at the World Championship since 2013, they've at least won one game. There's at least been 1 to 2 victories every single year since 2013 that these wildcard teams do pull the upset win and get them in. I think we're poised for another one here at some point in this World Championship. But for now,